Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Parent Support Program hosted by EAST. Our goal with these sessions is to improve your technical skills and knowledge so that you can better support your children in their virtual learning. My name is Amy Bell. I am the Program Coordinator for Education Unleashed here at EAST. And if you're unfamiliar with EAST, but you've chosen to tune in, we want to say thank you. Here is a little bit about what we do. EAST is an educational nonprofit headquartered in Little Rock, Arkansas. Our primary focus is putting industry-grade technology into the hands of students in grades 2 through 12, developing their technical skills, offering training sessions led by industry professionals, and then empowering those students to go out into their community and solve problems. We have nearly 270 EAST programs in Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Pennsylvania. Now, we also provide professional development and support through our Education Unleashed program. We provide customizable training sessions each year to educators, co-ops, and civic organizations. Today, we're talking about Google file sharing and organization. Now, everything I'm going to be covering today is included in my handout, and the link is on this slide. Just remember, it is case sensitive, so you can either copy and paste that link into your URL, into your Omnibox on your Google Chrome browser, or you can write that down and type it in. Just make sure that the G in Google and the H in handout are capitalized so that you can access that handout and get all the information I'm talking about today during our session. So if you joined me last time, you know that if you have a Google account, then you have access to all the Google applications in G Suite, including Google Drive. So if you need help signing up for a Google account, I've included that in the handout. There's a link in there so that you can easily sign up for Google so that you can access the things that we're going to be talking about today. So Google Drive is where you keep all your files. It is a cloud-based file storage, and you can access those files on any computer, any smartphone or tablet, simply by logging into Google. That means when you change or delete a file that is stored in Google Drive, it changes across all your devices. It's really cool. With a free basic Google account, you get 15 gigabytes of free storage that you share between Google Drive and Google Photos. Now, only non-Drive files count towards that storage limit. So that means files in Google's native format, like a Google Doc, a Google Sheet, a Google Form, a Google Slide Deck, they're free. Essentially, they don't count against that 15 gigabytes of storage quota. That means your account storage space will go much further if you use Google Docs rather than a Microsoft Office document. Now, there's an easy way to find out if you have how much storage you have left in your Google account. So let's show you how to do that. I'm going to open up my Google account, and I'm just going to put in this link, which I'm also including in the handout for you so that you too can check your storage. It's just google.com/settings/storage. And if you click on that, that didn't work. Let's try it again. Aha, much better that time around. It tells me exactly how much storage I've got left in my drive. Right now, this is a fairly brand new account I created for training, and I've still got 15 gigabytes of free storage. But it also gives me a lot of other information and options on this page, including whether or not I'd like to upgrade that account and purchase storage. So I can get 100 gigabytes for $2 a month and so on. So check that out. Click on that link, check it out in the handout that I've included in this session. Now, to get to Google Drive, to see where all of your documents, all your files are located, you need to make sure that you're signed in to Google Chrome. Then you can either type in the Omnibox drive.google.com google.com to get there. Click enter, and it takes me to my Google Drive. Or in a new tab, I can go up to the top right-hand corner and find what they call the waffle. If you hover over it, you see it says Google Apps. And so I click on that waffle, and it gives me all the applications that I have access to in Google. And one of those is Google Drive. So I'm going to click on that. And again, that will easily take me to Google Drive. Now, like I said, this is where you store all of your files, all your documents, your spreadsheets, your slide decks, whatever. It all gets saved in Google Drive. And like we said earlier, it's all cloud-based. So nothing lives on the hard drive in my computer. It's all out there in the cloud. And so if I change something in a document that's in my drive, and then I access that document on a different device, all the changes are instantly there. So one way or one thing that I like to do to easily organize my files is I like to create that document within Google Drive in the file that I need it to be organized in. So I'm going to show you like an example of that. So these are folders that I have in Google Drive. These are documents down here, individual documents that are not within one of these folders. And I'm going to show you if I click on a folder. Well, that's not a good example. There's one. So if I click on the Conway folder, you can see I have a document within that Conway folder. In fact, I have another folder within that Conway folder. If I open that, I have another document within that folder. So you can organize this and put folders within folders and documents within other folders as much as you need to. And it's really, really simple on how you do that. So let's say I wanted to create a document that I need it to be organized within the Conway folder and actually within the Conway subfolder. You can see at the top of my screen very easily, I can see where I'm at in my drive. It says I'm in my drive, Conway folder, and I'm in the Conway subfolder. So from there, I can actually create a document. Rather than creating it and having to move it to where I want to, let's just create it right there. It's so simple, easy to do that. You just hit this big white new button with the plus at the top of your screen. And when I hit on that, you can see all these options of items that I can create right here. So I can create a new folder within this folder. Let me just do that. I'm going to create it Conway 1, 2, 3. When I create that, you're going to see immediately that now I have another folder within a folder. I can easily go back to that Conway subfolder simply by clicking on it at the top of my screen there. So I'm back. Now that new button, I can also upload a file from my hard drive into Google. Super easy to do. I can upload a whole folder of items from my hard drive into my Google Drive. So they make it super easy. Or I can create a new Google Doc, sheet, slide, form, drawing, map, site, app script, Jamboard. There's all these options. So let's say I'm just going to create a Google Doc. So I'm going to name this one Conway. Whoops. Start typing too fast. Conway 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So that's the title of my document right there. This is a Google Doc. Now, if I go back to my Conway subfolder, you can see suddenly that doc is living within that folder in the Conway subfolder. So it's exactly where I need it to be. I didn't have to create it and then move it to where I wanted it. So it's a little tip, little trick for staying organized is go to the place where you want to create it, where you want it to live, and then create that item. All right, so we have created a folder. We've created an item. Let me show you, go back to my drive and show you some ways to better organize the items that are in your drive. A better way to just visually see how things are organized. You might have noticed that this folder has a purple folder on it. You know why? Because I changed the color of that folder. Yeah, because I wanted to notice it immediately when I opened my drive. Now, I probably wouldn't want to color code every single folder in my drive, but I did with that one because maybe I access that one a lot, or maybe purple is associated with the content of the folder. So I want to show you how to easily color your folders. You just hover over the folder, or yes, and then right click, and you get this whole nother menu of items. So if you scroll down, you'll see change the color. So I'm going to change the Brinkley folder to cardinal red. Look there, it's bright red now. Super easy, great way to just add another layer of organization, sophistication to your drive. Now, you might also have noticed there was a whole bunch of other items in that menu. So let's go through each one of those. I'm going to right click on the Conway folder, and you can see, you know what, I'm going to actually click on a document that I've got down here. These documents do not live in a certain folder. They just live in my Google Drive. So they're not very organized. But if I right click on one of those, I get this big menu of options. Now, one is I can preview that. So without opening the item, it will show me a preview of what that item looks like. And then I just push the back arrow to close it. Look at there. Now, if I go to an item, there we go. And the second option is open with. It's going to give me a list of options in how to open that. So like this is a document, so it's saying you can open that with a Google Doc. If I click on that spreadsheet and I go to open with, it tells me I can open that with an app sheet, Google Sheet, or other items. So it depends on the actual file on what's available to open that with. So that gives you some options. Now, the third option there is share. Google makes it so easy to share files as needed and then collaborate with that person that you shared them with. So I'm going to click on that share button. It's got the little person there. And it asks me, well, who do you want to share this with? So this is the easiest way you can share it with a person as long as you know their email. So happen to know my own email for my work account, right? So I'll just put that in there. So now, hey, I'm sharing this with another Google account, which happens to be my other Google account. I can also add a message in there like, check out this document, or instructions or information about why I'm sharing this with you. It tells me right here exactly what I'm sharing. It's that X means it's an Excel spreadsheet, and there's the name of it. And right here, before I send it, I want to make sure that I check out this box right here. So this tells me what type of permission I'm giving the person that I'm sharing this item with. Do I want them to be able to edit my document? So this is a spreadsheet. Do I want them to mess around with all the information in there? Maybe not. I can give them permission just to comment. That means they cannot make changes to the document, the file, but they can make comments on it that I can see and they can see. And finally, I could just make them a viewer. They can only see the document. They cannot comment on it. They cannot make any edits to it. They can't change it in any way. So since it's me sharing it with me, I'm going to give myself editing rights. So I just want to make sure that I click on that. Now, then I'll hit send, and we'll send that to someone. You can also do that with a folder. So remember our Conway folder that we have a folder in there and a file. And then within our subfolder, we've got another folder. So it's full, right? So if I go back to my drive and I go to that Conway folder and I right click and get that big menu again, I can share that entire folder with everything that lives in that folder with someone. So it will share the subfolders and all the documents, all the files within those subfolders with someone at one time. So it makes it a whole lot easier than having to share individual files with someone. So once again, you can do that by sending an email to someone and alerting them that you've shared it, or just like earlier with a file, you can get a link. So let's try that one this time around. So if I click on Get Link, once again, it's going to give me some options about how I want to share this and those permissions. So it defaults to it is restricted. So it means only someone with this link can access all those items. But if I click that down arrow, it gives me another option. And that says anyone with the link. And then they give me an explanation. Anyone on the internet with this link, so that just pretty means anybody, they can view these files. Once again, can't edit them, can't comment, they can view them. But I can change that too. So you see that down arrow next to viewer. I can allow them to comment or to edit. So it just depends on the situation, what you need and how you need it, but I can absolutely share it that way. So I would just then copy that link, click done, and then I would paste that link maybe on a document like I did with you guys for the handout. That's a great example of a way to share an item with people that I don't know your individual email address, so I just have it out there for you to click on. Now, like with my handout, I clicked view only. So you can only view that document. You can't edit it or comment it. So just depends on the situation, like what permissions you need to set. You can also use that link in a document and highlight something and create a hyperlink to your document. A lot of people do that. A lot of people do that in an email as well. So lots of different options for using that link. Now, when you do share it via email, so the first option we went over, it's going to send that person an email to say, hey, someone has shared that with you. So this is my work email. So you can see right here that this is what I got and it says, hey, D. Jane has shared the following spreadsheet with you, and you can easily open it right there. So it makes it super easy to share and collaborate, and no more saving it to your hard drive and then putting it on a jump drive and then taking it with you. It's all there, and you can easily share it with someone else. Let's continue to go. Oh, no, one thing I wanted to point out. So in that Fayetteville folder too, right? And now you see it in the Conway folder. Do you see something different now? There's a little person on that folder. You don't see it with Brinkley, Harrison, Helena, Maumelle, none of those, but you do see it on Conway and Fayetteville. You know why? It's because I shared that folder with someone. It tells me right there that I have shared that with someone else. Isn't that awesome? Yes, so I know whether I've shared it or not. All right, let's continue to go over that big menu that we were talking about earlier. Okay, so we've done the preview, we've done the open with, we've shared it. Now, just like here where you can get the link, you can do it in quicker here by clicking on get the link. It's going to give you those same options that we saw earlier, how you want to, the permissions you want to give it, and then viewer, comment, or enter, all of that. It's going to be just through that link as well. So done. Right click again, go back to it. It can show me the file location. So let's go into a file that is sort of buried deep, and let's right click on that one so that we can actually see like file location. So here you go. It's in, yeah, so it goes, it takes me to where it's at. So let's say I had the file open or I searched for it and I didn't know where it should be located. That's going to take me exactly to where that file lives. Alrighty, I can add a shortcut to my drive. Now, why would I want to do that? Well, let's say this is a document that I access a lot, or it's a document that someone has shared with me, and I want to make sure that I can easily access it. I can add a shortcut to it in my drive. I can move that item very easily. So if I click on that, it starts showing me exactly where it lives, and I can back out of that. So I could move that one to, let's say I want to move it to my Helena folder and just click move here. Do I want to change the access? Nah, I just want to move it. Now you see that item is no longer in my Conway folder. If I go back to my drive and we moved it to the Helena folder, voila, there it is. So let's right click on that our document again. So we've moved it. The next option is add to starred. So by clicking on that, it stars that file. And once again, it's simply because we want to easily access that document. And you might have noticed in the left-hand corner here of my drive, some menu options, and one is starred. So I can easily click on that and there are the items that I've starred. So they're very easy access. I don't have to search through all my files and folders to try to find it. I can just go to that starred because I need to use it a lot. So, making it easily accessible. All right. So we've starred it. You can easily remove it from starred by right clicking on it again and clicking that remove from starred. And you see it's gone from my starred folder. All righty. The next item is to make that document available offline. So, a lot of us struggle with internet access at home, especially our kiddos trying to do their homework. And Google Chrome is awesome because you can, while you have access to the internet, you can choose to make a document available offline simply by clicking on that. And then you can make changes to that item while you're offline, so while you're not accessing the internet. The next time you do access the internet with your Google account, it will update all the changes to that item in the cloud, of course, across all of your devices. It's a pretty cool little tool, especially if kiddos do have homework. They can make those documents available offline while they're at school where they have internet access, go home, make all the changes, come back, and those changes will be made in their drive. You can rename a file, super easy right there. So I don't like the name copy of test, so I'm gonna make it East. Okay, and look, easily change the name of that document. The next thing is to view details. So I click on that and it gives me lots of information here. It tells me who is the owner, Jane Doe. It tells me that anyone on the internet with this link can view this item because remember we did that earlier. It's pretty cool. It tells me what type of document it is. It's a Google Doc, how big it is, the storage used, where it lives, all sorts of information, including the last time it was modified, when it was opened, when it was created, lots of cool information. Now, that's the details. If I click on activity, it's going to show me what activity has been associated with this item. So like you can see I renamed it, I shared it, I made a copy of it. That's pretty cool. And it's easy to get out of that details. You just hover over that X that says hide your details, click, and it's gone. So what else is left in that menu? We've got the next thing is we can easily make a copy of that document. So that was East. Right next to it, it puts copy of East. So it even tells you that it's a copy. So you know which one is which. Now, I don't like that name copy of East on that document. So I'm going to go into that menu and I'm going to rename it as East 1. Done. Finally, you can, well, not finally, you can download an item to your hard drive if you need to. And finally, you can easily remove an item. So if I do that, whoop, East is gone. That document is gone from my drive. It is deleted. You can't get that back, but easy way to clean up your drive. Whew, that's a whole lot of ways to organize your drive, isn't it? I also wanted to show you that your items can live in two places at once in your drive. So let's say you're super organized, but some of your documents you access them for different reasons. So you'd like for them to be in different folders, but you'd like that any changes you made to be made to all of those documents. So it's easy. You just left click on a document and then put Shift Z or click on Shift Z, and you get this new option. And it says, where do you want to put that shortcut? So I can go into my drive, and I also want to put it in the Fayetteville folder. So add a shortcut. It asks me, are you sure you want to do that? Yes, I do. So that means this color work cycles, I can access it right here, or while I'm in my Fayetteville folder, I can access it there as well. It's the same document. It is simply a shortcut to the document. So essentially, it is living in more than one location to make it, once again, more easily accessible for us. Okay, let's talk about searching for folders within your drive. So we're going to switch a little bit. There, you might have noticed at the top of your drive, there is a box that says search in drive. And if I click in that, you see, it's going to ask me, the first thing it's going to show is, do I want to search for a specific type of file? So am I looking for a PDF, a document, a spreadsheet, presentation, photo images, or a video? I'm going to look for a PDF. And it's going to pull up all the PDFs that live in my drive. So if that's really all I know about that item I'm looking for, that's an easy way to do it. You can also type in that space. You can type a keyword, or if you know the name of it. So like, I'm going to look for cats. Now you might notice it's auto-populating some items that I think might be what I'm looking for. But if that's not right, just hit enter, and it's going to bring up all the items in my drive that are either named cat or they have cat within the document. So you might notice this item is named white cat. So it pulled that one up. But look at this one. This is a Google slide deck. The name of the slide deck is sunflowers, but I just typed the word cats within a slide and Google found it when I searched for it. The same thing for this document, the test. If I click on that, you'll see cats is just typed within the document, and Google found that for me when I did a search. It's pretty cool. So let's say that's not, I'm not sure about the keyword, not sure about how to search that way. I've got some more options here under this arrow. See if I hover over it, it says search options, always a good thing. So I'm going to click on that, and this is advanced search options. So I can choose any of these or one of these. They're not all required. So I can, once again, I can look by type. So maybe I know it's a presentation. I'm not sure who the owner is, but if I did, I could put it in there. So someone maybe who shared a document with me, they're the owner. The location, maybe it is in my stored or my trash, or I'm just going to stick with anywhere. So I'm not sure where it's located. I can search by date modified. It's going to give me some pre-populated options, or I can customize that. I can search by that item name or with the words like we did earlier. Maybe I can't remember the name of it, but I know I shared it with someone, right? So right here, I can enter a name or an email address with someone I've shared that item with, and so I can easily find it that way. And then follow up is maybe I can't remember the name of the item, but I know that people have suggested things or there's action items on that, so I could do that way. And then I just push search. So for that one, I just searched by slide decks and it brings up the slide decks that are in my drive. So lots of ways to easily search for items if you do lose them or you forget where they live. Another way that I use a lot to find items is this recent button over here on the left-hand side. So recent means I've accessed them recently. I've opened them up recently. And if you have a lot of files, this comes in really, really handy because maybe I did forget the name of it, but I can easily see these are the items that I opened most recently, and then I can click on them right from there. I can also easily see which items people have shared with me by clicking on this button on the left-hand side, and you can see that this Gaddy JPEG was shared with me. So I'm not the owner of the file, someone else is. And now look what it's asking me. Do you want to add a shortcut to Drive to open this file from wherever you want it? So that means it's someone else's file, but I have a shortcut to it in my Drive. I don't own it, but I can easily access that item. Gotcha. I sure do. And finally, you can look in your trash. So remember, we removed that East document. It is still there. And just a reminder, Google says items in your trash, they're deleted forever after 30 days. But let's say I removed it and I decided I wanted it back. What can I do? I can right click on it and I can restore that item. And now it says, look, no items are in my trash. So I can get it back. It's a little safeguard there. Okay. I want to make sure that we've covered everything. Oh, one thing that I wanted to go over with you before we check out is a lot of us are using Microsoft Office files for one piece of our life and we're using Google Files for the other. So I want to show you how easily it is to go between the two. After you upload a Word document, an Excel spreadsheet, a PowerPoint to Google Drive, let's say you uploaded that from your hard drive, you can easily convert it to a Google format. So when you're in Drive, look for those Microsoft Office items. So you might have noticed that this is an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm going to right-click on it, and I'm going to go to that Open With again that we saw earlier, and I'm going to open it as a Google Sheet because I know Google's telling me this is a software, this is an application that you can use to open your Excel spreadsheet. And when I do, it's going to convert that Excel spreadsheet to a Google Sheet. So all the information is there. I can easily access it, edit it, and go back and forth. All righty. So I know that's a lot of information. It was, wasn't it? Let's go back to mine. So just a reminder that this is your handout here. This is the link to your handout. It includes links and information about everything that we have covered today. So make sure you write that down, make sure you get that link, make sure you access that document so that you can see and you can have that follow-up and it's your little cheat sheet for later. I hope that all this information helps you get organized and feel more confident about sharing your Google files. I also hope that you'll join me on Tuesday for our next session on Google, and that's all about Google extensions. And if you haven't worked with extensions yet, you're going to be really excited. Come back and check out what we've got. So thank you again for tuning in. Before you leave, please do me a favor and fill out that survey, and the link is in the chat. Thank you again for joining us, and have a great day.